Hello again, everyone. This is Collocations Part 18. This is the 18th video in my collocation series, and like the others, I'll present 5 commonly used collocations to you, numbered 86 to 90. But first, I'll give you the opportunity to guess the appropriate word or words to complete each one. Then I'll give you the answers and an additional example for each collocation. I also recommend that you pause the video at each question to give yourself some extra time to think of the answers. So are you ready once again? Okay, here we go. Number 86. And the answer here is C, prospective. The complete collocation is prospective employees, and the example is, my company has recently introduced a compulsory drug testing program for all prospective employees. Now, a prospective employee is, let's say, there are people that are expected to be employed. This is used quite often. All right. In this case, they're talking about how the company just recently introduced a compulsory, meaning that the people that are going to be employees, they're expected employees, have to take this drug test. Okay? That's what it means. And our other 2 options here, planned employees or approaching employees, very close, but no. Prospective employees, that's our collocation. Here's another example. All prospective employees at that company are now required to undergo a medical examination at a facility approved by its hiring team. All right, the same kind of a situation here where we have prospective employees, meaning that people that are expected to work there. Okay, same kind of a deal where they're required to do something. In this case, they're required to have a medical examination before they're hired. All right, now for number 87. And the answer here is B, factor. And the complete collocation is a factor in the decision. This could also be the factor, or the main factor, or key factor in the decision. Okay? It's used like this. So the example is, her vast experience as a teacher was a huge factor in the decision to hire her as the school's new principal. Now, a factor or the factor in the decision means that it's a fact or situation that influences the decision. And that's what it was in this example. It was her experience that was a huge or a big factor in the decision to hire her. And the other 2 options, a sector or a symbol in the decision, they both don't work. All right, here's another example. The location of the warehouse was the key factor in the decision to lease it for our new manufacturing division. All right, in this case, it was the factor or the key factor or main factor. All right, this is used like that, okay? And it's very, very common. All right, now for number 88. And the answer here is C, face. The collocation is face challenges, and the example is, the new mayor knew he'd have to face many difficult challenges when he took office. Okay, to face a challenge is to encounter it or confront it. That's how it's used, and this is really common. Okay, to face a challenge. All right, in our example, the new mayor here knew that he would face many difficult challenges when he took office. Okay, the other 2 examples or the other 2 options here just don't work. Here's another example. I think it's exciting to face new challenges every day on my job. All right, this person is very happy to face a challenge or a new challenge, okay? It makes it exciting to do it. All right? Okay, now for number 89. And the answer here is B, whichever. And the example is, she likes her job because she can choose whichever shift she wants at work. Now, the collocation is whichever one wants. It could be she or they or he, okay? And that's just selecting or maybe even choosing one thing from a set of other things. In this case, she was talking about her shift, meaning her schedule. So she could choose which one she wanted or whichever one she wanted, okay? Now, whichever one wants, it's very common, okay? The other two, whenever, that's a time, and wherever, it's a place. So these two options don't work because one is about a time and one is about a place, all right? This is about a thing, whichever. All right, here's another example. Tonight, we can go to the 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock show, whichever you want. Now, they're talking about the show, all right? Now, let me see here. We can go whenever you want. That would also work here because we're talking about a time. So it is a thing and it's about a time. Okay, so in this case, you could use whenever you want or whichever you want. They both work. Now, wherever you want, that would never work here, right? Because we're not talking about place. All right, even though we're talking about the show. Okay, so now for our final collocation, number 90. And the answer here is B, generations. And the complete collocation is a few generations ago. And the example is, there are more job opportunities for people now compared to what there were just a few generations ago. Now, a generation is usually about 25 to 30 years, or you can think about it as, let's say a baby becomes an adult, and then that adult has another baby, and that baby becomes an adult. So you figure about 30 years, let's say, all right? And they're talking about this from the perspective where there's more jobs now than there were at that time. Like a few of those. So what do we got? A few? What's that? Maybe 70 years ago, 80 years ago, something like that, a few generations ago. All right? The other two, a few times ago or a few spans ago, those two don't work. All right? A few generations ago, very commonly used. Here's another example. A few generations ago, people rarely worked at home the way they do nowadays. Okay, so maybe because of the internet, people are working at home more than they used to a few generations ago, where almost everyone had to go to work, right? Had to commute or go to a place of work, even though there probably were some people that worked from home. Okay, but the idea here is a few generations ago, and it's that time span. Got it? That's all for this video. Thanks again for subscribing, and please like and share this video if you get a chance. And remember what I always say, keep practicing. See you next time.